Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for requesting this private session of tapping that we're getting ready to do. If you haven't already listened to the Freedom Slay podcast episode, I will have that linked here in the private sessions where you can get to it, or you can just look it up wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. I highly suggest getting a little bit of understanding for what this is all about before you do it. But if you haven't, you can dive right into. Either way is fine. So, Gayneté, what did you want to work on today?
So I think today a good one to work on is breaking through to the next level in my business. So I have a product-based business and I mean, we're making strides. It's only been around since 2021 and we're in 104 Wegmans and we're doing these things.
Oh,
But
wow.
we're speaking with a few other retailers. And to me, things just seem to be moving slowly. And I'm like, how do we get to that next level?
What is
Um,
your product-based business, out of curiosity?
So I have Best Period. It's a menstrual care business, really here making period sustainable, fun, comfortable, and cool for the first time, right? And those are
Oh,
words
wow.
typically not synonymous with periods and menstrual care, but
I
our
love it.
first products are menstrual cups. So
Okay.
from there, we have a few other products launching in the next year as well. So of course, with these new products and things as well, then that means more money. So with product-based businesses, the interesting thing is I have my other business where I'm doing courses and trainings and stuff. But with product-based businesses, you're putting so much money out before you're seeing any of it come back in. So even with like even retailers, we have retailers who would purchase thousands of cups, but they pay 60 or 90 days later. So it's just a new challenge trying to
Yeah.
figure out, okay, how this looks and how to move things and work with it. So I think that would be interesting just to see how we get to that next level where it's like, okay, we're done on this level. Let's move to the next plane where we're in those retailers, where, we're hiring staff because it's desperately needed, where we're doing the things that need to happen. And I think that would be a great one. And I think that will be beneficial for those watching as well.
Yeah. Are you looking to maintain your other business as well? Like have them both? Or are you looking to move from
I've
one to the
completely
other?
let go at this point of everything except for my podcast. So the podcast is the only piece I'm holding on to. And I think the podcast actually helps with my business because I do bring in a lot of people speaking about product-based businesses and I learn about the retail side of things. So I really
Yeah.
do love that piece, especially for the network. But that is I've let go of all the other things I've done there. I used to do coaching, like one-on-one training. I used to do group trainings and I had online courses, Cubicle Ditch Academy. I let all of that go.
Okay. So I can tell that you're very good at like putting things in a positive frame and a positive mindset. But if you were to think negatively about this, what are some of those thoughts running under the surface about moving into this next level? Like, what are some of the things that maybe you're telling yourself or thinking that are holding you back?
Hmm. I do put a positive spin on everything. Um, I say all the time, there's zero quit in me. So like, even if something came up, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'll figure out a way to get to that next level. I guess the scary pieces that could potentially come up would be like, okay, what if there's, okay, let's say a Target or a Walmart let's use CVS because I have someone reaching out to CVS right now. CVS has 10,000 stores. 10,000 stores and having your product in 10,000 stores means you have to put up over $1 million up front to create the product. So it's like that, having that in cash. And then I'm like, okay, so it requires a next level, whether that will be getting VC funding, whether that's, utilizing your own funds, getting angel investors. It's just different pieces. And I'm like, I don't know those pieces or have them all together yet to figure out, but I know that's the step I want to get to, if that makes sense.
Yes. So figuring it all out.
Yeah.
And is there any kind of an inner critic that's telling you you can't do it, or what if they don't want you, or any of that kind of stuff, or no?
Well, the inner critic is more like, this is taking so long. Why is it? Why is this not happening already? That kind of piece. Yeah, I think that it's that piece of it.
Okay. There's a whole new timeline of waiting for the money.
Yeah, like I guess it's like, okay, well, when is this happening? Like you're doing these things to manifest getting to these places. When is that happening? Where is it? How to remain, I guess, calm and open in the meantime, or surrender is what they say, isn't
Is
it?
there maybe like an underlying fear of like, what if I don't get paid?
Um, I know I would get paid, I guess,
Okay,
but
so that's not
like
it.
Yeah, I know I'll get paid eventually. But yeah, I mean, being in business anyway, you wouldn't get at least like you would in a 9 to 5, like the consistent flow of funds. So yeah, that would be great. Like it will be like, when would I have a consistent flow where we're big enough where we do have the consistent flow coming in for the business would be great.
Flow, no pun intended, right?
That's actually really intelligent. I didn't even think of that. Like that was not intentional at all.
I know. Okay. So, oh, I had another question I was going to ask. I don't remember what it was. What? So it feels like it's taking longer than you'd like it to. And is there any fear or worry about competitors making similar products?
Um, I think we can all shine together. I think if there is a fear around anything, it's the let's see, it will be like the fear. So like I said, I had my 9 to 5, no longer at the 9 to 5. I had my other business which did really well, doing all that kind of stuff. And this business does do well, but it's like, when is it going to be at a place where I will feel like, okay, I'm confident that it could be fine running by itself, like I can have that break from it. I can do things and move away from it. And even pay myself from it, because that has happened, and it's going to be 2 years come January, so everything right now is being reinvested in the business, the money we are making. So yeah,
So the financial security of it.
yeah, that would be a good one.
Okay. All right. That's enough probably for us to work with on this. And then, so for any of you who are listening to this recording, you can use this tapping session probably. I say probably because we haven't done it yet. So I sometimes don't know where it's going to end up until we actually do it. But I'm imagining that whatever goals you are working on that maybe you're feeling stuck with, or a little bit intimidated by, or haven't followed through on yet, are probably going to be great to apply this to. Or anything where maybe there's some self-judgment coming in around your own goals. I think this will probably be good. So for those who are listening, the first thing I'm going to say, and for us as well, make sure you're hydrated. We're moving energy and it likes hydration to move in. If you're not hydrated, sometimes you can do an EFT tapping round and not really feel any shift or change because you just don't have the fluid for the system to make the moves with. And then also to keep hydrating throughout the rest of the day, because this energy doesn't just stop moving because we stopped tapping. It's going to kind of keep doing its thing. And you may even notice some elevated consciousness or some new ideas, or kind of like, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before, or this hit me after we did that and I wasn't expecting it, kind of stuff. So stay aware and open to what comes up throughout the rest of the day for you. And then, if you're listening to the recording, feel free to change the words to suit your specific instance better, in case what I'm saying is maybe more individually suited for what Gayneté shared. So yeah, there's all that. It's gonna be like follow the leader. So we're gonna dig in here in a minute, and I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do what I'm doing. Do it together.
Should I grab my water? My water is like right there.
If you feel like you're not hydrated, grab your water, have a sip, get hydrated. Go for it. I'll do the same while you do that. I've got some tea. Am I pronouncing? All right, hydrated?
I have my water here, yes.
All right, get hydrated. And
sorry, should I have my collarbone exposed? Like, should I open this so I can tap?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't, I mean, you can tap through your clothing, same way you'll do with the under the arm. Doesn't matter. Okay. Whatever you're comfortable with. So what we're going to do is we're going to rate the intensity of the negative feelings that you're having before we start. That way we kind of know what shifts or what's still left when we're done. So we use a scale where 0 is like, we're feeling great, there's no problem, and 10 is like the worst it can be. So when you're thinking about moving to that next level with your product-based business, with this goal that you have, and the things that are feeling a bit like obstacles right now or changes, how much activation or distress do you feel around that on a scale of 0 to 10?
Today, because there's a lot of stressful emails coming through, let's do a 6.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wrote that down for you. For those of you tapping at home, write down your number. So many times we have these great shifts and then we go, oh, I guess it wasn't that bad. And instead of realizing, like, hey, I just moved some energy, unblocked myself, I feel so much better, I did that, and giving yourself credit for the work that you've done. All right, so write it down so that you know what happened. And off we go. So just start by tapping on the side of your hand. It doesn't matter which hand, you can do either.
I was going to ask that too. I'm like,
nope. And when we get to the
I'm a
thing,
Virgo. I'm like, I want to do it properly.
yeah, well, there is no screwing it up. So you're going to be fine either way. And when we get to those other points, like your eyebrows, you got two of them. If you want to use both hands, you can. If you want to use your left, your right, doesn't matter. Same with, but there's some points where we only have one of them. So just pick a hand. Doesn't matter which one.
Okay.
All right. Even though this isn't happening fast enough,
Even though this isn't happening fast enough,
I want it to be done already.
I want it to be done already. I really do.
And I am not feeling very patient about it.
And I am not feeling very patient about it. This is perfect already.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
I want to love, accept, and forgive myself.
Even though this way of doing business is totally different from what I'm used to.
Even though this way of doing business is totally different than what I'm used to.
And I'm feeling a little challenged adjusting to it all.
And I'm feeling a little challenged adjusting to it all.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
I honor these feelings and accept myself anyway.
Even though I have some big goals and they're making me feel a little anxious.
Even though I have some big goals and they're making me feel a little anxious.
Moving to the next level is not comfortable at all.
Moving to the next level is not comfortable at all.
I'm open to the idea that I can love and accept myself anyway.
I'm open to the idea that I can love and accept myself anyway.
All of these changes with my new business.
All of these new changes with my business.
It's so different and I have so much to learn.
It's so different and I have so much to learn.
And I'm a Virgo, so I want to do it all perfect.
And I'm a Virgo, so I want to do it all perfect.
So worried it might get messed up.
So worried it might get messed up.
Anxious that I won't be able to keep up with the demand.
Anxious that I won't be able to keep up with the demand.
There's all these new aspects of business I need to get familiar with.
There's all these new aspects of business I need to get familiar with.
I might need investors.
I might need investors.
Or loans.
Or loans.
That are way bigger than I ever needed to look at before.
That are way bigger than I ever needed to look at before.
And I have to wait so long to get paid.
And I have to wait so long to get paid.
It just feels really unfamiliar.
It just feels really unfamiliar.
And unfamiliar feels a little unsafe.
And unfamiliar feels a little unsafe.
All these changes with my business.
All these changes with my business.
I've made changes before.
I've made changes before.
I've moved from one business to the next.
I've moved from one business to the next.
And I can figure this one out too.
And I could figure this one out too.
But it feels like it's taking so long.
But it feels like it's taking so long.
And I feel like my impatience is getting the best of me sometimes.
And I feel like my impatience is getting the best of me sometimes.
And sometimes it can be easy to forget how far I've come.
And sometimes it can be easy to forget how far I've come.
Because I can get so focused in on how far I want to go.
Because I can get so focused in on how far I want to go.
And I want to do my best at this.
And I want to do my best at this.
And I want to be able to achieve financial freedom in the process.
And I want to be able to achieve financial freedom in the process.
Clearing my resistance down to a cellular level.
Clearing my resistance down to a cellular level.
It's safe to trust in this new way of doing business.
It's safe to trust in this new way of doing business.
What would it take for getting the next level to be a smooth process?
What will it take to get, what would it take to get doing this one more time, please? Sorry.
It was a confusing way I worded it. I'm sorry. What would it take to get to the next level with ease? How about that?
What would it take to get to the next level with ease?
What would it take to release some of this impatience
What would it take to release some of this impatience
and replace it with self-trust?
and replace it with self-trust?
Open to the idea that everything is happening in the timeline it needs to,
Open to the idea that everything is happening in the timeline it needs to,
and that maybe my impatience is slowing it down.
and that maybe my impatience is slowing it down.
Open to my idea that financial freedom isn't as far away as it seems.
Open to my idea that maybe financial freedom isn't as far away as it seems.
And that I already have all of the knowledge I need to get there.
And that I already have all the knowledge that I need to get there.
Now we're going to tap the sides of your fingers and just kind of follow along with me. With love,
With love,
compassion,
compassion,
tolerance,
tolerance,
and understanding.
and understanding.
I now forgive, I now forgive, I now forgive.
I now forgive, I now forgive, I now forgive.
Back of the hand between the ring finger and the pinky.
Mhm.
And I call my power back into my body.
And I call my power back into my body.
Everything is unfolding according to a divine plan,
Everything is unfolding according to a divine plan,
even if I don't get to see it in advance.
even if I don't get to see it in advance.
I am whole, complete, and powerful.
I am whole, complete, and powerful.
Now I want you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for just a moment, and then exhale out through your mouth. And while you're tapping, what we're going to do is you're going to focus in on whatever feels like is left for you of this negative feeling. And I'm going to have you just look straight ahead and look hard down to the right. So just kind of diagonally down to the right, and then back up to center. And then I want you to look hard down to the left and back up to center. And then we're going to do some eye rolls. So you're going to start like at the 12 hand of the clock, looking straight up, and you're going to slowly roll your eyes in a circle as if you're going around every number on the hands of a clock. And then when you end up back at the 12 hand, we are going to reverse and go counterclockwise. As slow as you need to go to feel thorough in getting all the way around. And then we're just going to hum for a few seconds. Everybody knows Happy Birthday, so that seems to be the go-to song. So, and then we're going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then hum for just a few more seconds. And then I want you to just take another nice deep breath. Really fill your lungs. And then exhale. And you can stop tapping. And just tell me like what came up for you, what you experienced during that, and how you're feeling now.
That was great. That was so good. It's funny when you were saying like, oh, maybe my impatience is slowing me down. And I'm like, yeah, maybe it is, because I want everything like yesterday. So yeah, being able to release it a bit more and understand that I'm doing what I can with what I can now, and that things are gonna happen when they're gonna happen. You know, I want things happen right away, and I understand they can't always happen like that. But what's amazing to me is how you were able to pull out those tapping, the words for tapping as I'm doing it. I'm like, how did you figure all that out so fast? Like what to say on each of the points? Like it feels like it's been written for months.
Well, that's part of I don't remember if I said this on your podcast or not. But I used to love songwriting as a child, and I would write lyrics and poems and things like that. And I got away from that, and I got away from like playing my guitar and singing as much as I used to and things like that. And I feel like a lot of that has been rechanneled through the work I do with EFT, and that I'm able to kind of put I have a fast, my brain thinks pretty fast. My mom always says, you should have been a lawyer. Like, I'm like, wouldn't have suited me, but I have a pretty fast brain. And I think putting that together with my creativity and then just really connecting to a person's energy and having the empath part of myself kind of connect in there, it comes. So for me, I'm so grateful that I get to do it because I get to channel that creativity and put it to good use.
Yeah,
But
it's a gift for sure. Like, I'm like, she's got the perfect words for all of these points. It was great.
I'm glad it felt like it was hitting on the right things. So when you revisit that scale of 0 to 10, where do you feel like you are on that with regards to this goal and the way that it's working out so far?
I would say we're at like a 7.5 just from doing the tapping and breathing already. And I feel like throughout the day, as I think about it and breathe through it some more, it would get even better.
So I think it's actually 10's the worst, 0 is the best. You were at a 6.
Mm.
So it didn't get worse, did it?
I was going the opposite way. I thought
that's okay. I'm just re-explaining the scale that we use because it can be confusing. So if getting closer to 0 is the goal, where are you?
Okay, so then at the beginning, then I would have been a 7, and then now I would be a 5.5. So closer to 0. Yeah, I was going in the opposite direction. Sorry.
So then the next question that I come up with, and it's a shift like that, and there's still a ways to go, is what's left? Like, what makes up that 5 or 5.5 for you?
No, I think I feel like we made a lot of progress just now, and I'm gonna do that again and just breathe through it. And yeah, I think that was significant progress in just one session.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we don't have to go further with it. I was kind of saying that because like, that's kind of my process. Like if we were working together, that would be like the next place, like what's left, what makes up that 5 for you? Cause that would be the next layer of the onion, so to speak, to peel back and to get more consciousness around like, what takes it closer to 0 for you. That's all.
Yeah. Let me think on that for a second.
Yeah. And you don't have to if you don't want to. I was just sharing that as part of the process is like, hey, if we were doing like a full session, we would be moving towards like another tapping round, and we would do that movement by assessing where you are and what's still feeling like it's there for you. And that's usually when it kind of starts to get kind of deep.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm going to do this again afterwards. I feel like it may just be doing what we just did again to help even,
If you do it again, because you've already cleared what we needed to clear with this round, change it up and make it more specific.
Okay.
You play it back, like lean into the new feelings that are there that have emerged since you did it the first time.
Okay.
I simply change
it
a little bit.
So you wouldn't suggest like doing the same thing each time. It's always something new and different.
So I wouldn't with something like this, because this isn't like, I mean, if it was like an in the moment thing, like if you had like fear of public speaking and we just did tapping right before you like walked out on stage to do something and you felt better doing that, you could probably do that exact same round before a public speaking gig again and get a good result again. But this was what we did right now was almost like taking like the tip of the iceberg off on something that's a deeper kind of like with the Band-Aid versus the deep wound clean out kind of thing. Like, so I don't think you're going to get additional benefit by just doing the same thing again. Okay. You might. But when you pay attention, like throughout the rest of today, like what comes into your consciousness, those are the things you want to work with next.
This was really helpful. Thank you. Good. Like I said welcome. On the podcast itself, I had seen it before, I looked at it once, but now I'm actually intrigued and interested and see the benefit of doing it.
Because you can see how it's relevant to your life now.
For sure.
Yeah, good. I'm glad to help you with that light bulb moment. I needed that light bulb moment too. So I know how valuable it is.
Yeah, I feel like I have more patience already. Just a bit more patience with it all. Knowing that, some industries move slower than others. And for me, it's just like, understanding that I don't control it all. So
yeah, well, you can only be where you are, and whatever the belief is that you have right now is going to affect what happens tomorrow and the next day. So like just staying in that intention of what you want, and doing whatever you can to remove that self-doubt, the unwarranted self-doubt especially. And move on from there. So for those of you who listen to this, I love to hear how it went for you. Just kind of like how we were chatting after the round. Send me an email. Like, tell me where you started, where you ended up, what came up for you. I love hearing that kind of stuff. My email is Theresa@theresalearlevine.com. Do you like hearing about that kind of stuff too? Do you want to share your email?
I do. Please do send me a message. You can send it to contact. My name's really difficult. So contact@Gayneté, GAYNETE.com.
Perfect. And we will be excited and grateful to hear from you, anybody who tries this. So thanks again. And thanks for trusting me to guide you through the process.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to try it.
Yeah, cool.